Nice. Well, that's our intro. Thanks, James. Always a pleasure to hear your intros. Welcome to Conversations with Kevin from the Kevin Marks Project. Today we have Bladimir and a return of James.
Hey.
By popular demand, I must say. So, the beginning of this show is going to be about who we are, and I'd like to talk about who you are, Bladimir.
Yes.
Well, you were talking about this airplane thing before. I want to hear that because you're in aviation. We're all in aviation. Well, I was, and you were mentioning about being a pilot for a short time.
Talking about myself, I always wanted to become a pilot since I was a kid, but I grew up in Panama, Central America.
Yeah.
So in those days, the option was very narrow for people who without really some resource with money, you know. But eventually, the life took me to become a mechanic, aviation mechanic.
Cool.
But being in Canada, I saw the chance to at least to fly a plane, not to get a license or whatever. I wanted to fly a plane. I wanted to have the experience to be controlling an airplane in the air, in the sky. So yes, I took my lessons. And I did 25-hour solo and.
Wow.
And about 91 hours altogether with instructor and everything. And I was ready for the exam, but I didn't go for the exam because I have no more money at the
It's
time.
expensive to be a pilot. Right?
I spent it cost me a little bit more because when I was doing it, I have a heart condition. It's like, I cannot tell you the name right now because it doesn't come to my mind, but it's something like have to do with the electrical.
Oh yes,
we all have inside the heart.
Yeah, I know.
So you have like a point
yeah.
A, point B, and the electricity goes through and keep going A, B, and keep going around.
Arrhythmia,
But people like in my case, I was born with an extra pole, so I have ABC.
Oh wow, you're tripolar.
Yeah, exactly. But what happened is like, according to what the doctor said, until when you're 12-year-old, that doesn't really can show up. After you're 12, you pass your 12 year of age, it can show anytime.
Wow.
I was 39, 36, I'm not sure.
Okay.
When it happened at work.
How did you know what it was? Like what happened at work?
I was at work. I went for lunch. After that, I went back to work. And suddenly I start like a cold sweating, you know, feeling like a little bit dizzy and a little bit of press on the chest and pressure on the chest. And so I went to drink some water because I think it was no winter, was it May or so. Anyway, and then I went to the, I said, okay, I'm getting like a hot or whatever. I went to the locker room to try to chill out. Jeez. And in the locker room, I was feeling a little bit worse, so I went to see the nurse. And the nurse checked my heart and my pressure and everything, and she called the ambulance, and I was taken with the ambulance.
Wow!
Out of,
Thank God there's.
I didn't talk to my supervisor. I talked to nobody because no chance. So I was thinking when I remember passing the red light with the siren.
Oh wow!
And I could not breathe. I feel like I jumped in a swimming pool. And I could not swim, and I was about to drown.
Oh man!
Wow!
So they got me to the hospital, directly to the emergency room, and they put in my arm put some how call that the
intravenous.
Okay.
Put intravenous.
The catheter. Yeah.
And the guy. Remember the doctor said he has a little bottle like this. Okay, with this we're gonna inject you this, and in 3 minutes you're gonna be okay. And I was not believing nothing because I was feeling like okay, I'm gonna die here.
Yeah.
And he did it, and after a little while, I was normal.
What was the drug?
I don't know.
Wow,
that's awesome.
They know because
maybe it's like an adrenaline
they know
or
by
something.
the way the heart goes on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly I have by the way the pattern of the heart. So they said you have to go for a procedure because you had to go with a catheter and burn down that extra ball that you have there.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I did. So I have to, going back to the aviation, I stopped flying because I had to report that to Transport Canada.
Sure,
Okay,
of
And
course.
get a
Medical condition.
after the everything was done and everything was okay, I had to be examined by bring all those papers and be examined by a doctor from Transport Canada
Mm-hmm.
to allow me to go back to fly again.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you're here because it's a good thing you got help and everything's fine and you're doing well.
Yes, after that, actually, there's another curious thing that happened. The first time they did it, I went to see the doctor after a month, like, okay, I feel good, everything was okay. And then he said, oh, we have to do it again. So I was like, are you kidding, eh? No, seriously, we have to do it again. Because you're still young, and the person who did it, who wasn't me, was another person, he said, he didn't do it properly.
No.
You're still young, and the tissue can grow up again.
Regenerate.
It had to be burned properly because if you were older person, I was gonna leave it like that. But you're still young, so it had to be. So they did it twice, actually.
Wow.
Jeez.
Well, I'm happy it worked, and I'm glad you're here. And James, I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
You
Yeah, I'm
brought
having a
some-
moment of gratitude for my existence right
Well,
now.
I
after
think I
hearing
am
that.
too. Exactly, and I think we all should be grateful that.
You know, I've known you. I've known you now since what? 2006. Like 18
Around it?
years,
Yeah,
and I never knew that about
yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's what this show's all about: conversations. And
I know
we're
you're a
gonna learn
wicked
about
good
each other.
musician,
Yes,
and you've
I'm happy
introduced me
about
to
that.
some guys who are just absolute, like Raul, man. He's out of this world.
Yeah.
What a player! Holy smokes!
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear you got. Well, you got some props here. We got a cajon. We got a djembe. We got a
Some cowbells. I got a singing bowl.
singing bowl, and
And,
this thing here is interesting.
This is a steel tongue drum.
yeah, not too close to the mic, but trim.
Okay, no. I just wanted to
Oh,
show
okay.
it on that account. And yeah, it's just this little gizmo. I received this as a Christmas present from my sister. She knows I love things that make noises. And this is like a no-brainer, untuned instrument, but it's tonal, if that makes any sense.
That is cool.
And it's a meditation thing. You can just trip out on this.
Really
I see
cool.
some numbers there. You put those numbers there? Or?
Well, it came with a little booklet that said this is how to play this, and you bend the tongues in and out to change the pitch slightly. But it's like, look, it's a little tiny desktop ornament. It plays like bells, like weird Christmas bells, like you
Yeah.
know.
So you can tune it up with by pressing on the
Right? Yeah, you bend them.
bend it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm like, just screw it. It sounds it's good, creepy background music, like you know, kids singing in
yeah.
horror movies.
Okay, yeah. You
Yeah.
can maybe do something with that one.
Yeah,
day.
for sure. It
That'll be
reminded
fun.
me a little bit of. Did you ever see the movie Microcosmos?
Bad with names, but it's
Okay,
possible. 'cause I've
it's
seen
a
so many
French movie. I
movies.
think it came out like European. I think it came out in '96,
Okay.
and it's called Le Peuple de Herbe, the people of the grass.
Okay.
And it's kind of set up like a day in the life of insects, but it's not a day in the life. It's all sorts of insects from all over the world. The music, the opening theme is so creepy.
Oh yeah.
It is just, it's like Cirque du Soleil when like meat hooks and chainsaws. Like it's just really nasty.
Or what's his name? That producer
Haunting.
that did that one Batman with the penguin, and he did Beetlejuice. He's very dark. His stuff is very dark. It's kind of reminding me of that.
Right.
I forget it was. Somebody will mention it in the comments, hopefully. 'Cause
Good.
I'm not.
Good.
That,
That's what the audience is for.
I'm
Please
not
help
that
us.
swift with my brain anymore. But hey, we get by with what we got, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about music. You apparently you're quite the established musician with a lot of talent and some great experiences.
Well, me, I'm not a professional musician to start with, but I always like music, the rhythms. I like the percussion, and now I'm doing some how can I put it? I just experimenting with the ukulele
That's
by
cool.
myself, like watching tutorials and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm.
But
Well, let me hear your ukulele.
oh, my uke is right here.
Just easy on the volume because your mic is really hot.
Okay.
But I'd like to hear the uke. It'd be cool.
So this is the uke.
Nice.
There you go.
That is beautiful. That was really cool.
Awesome,
On the
man.
spot jam.
That
All
is
right.
so
Well, I think
sharp.
we're going to do a few more of those today because we're all three musicians, and I think we love music. And for anybody who doesn't know, James is an incredible drummer. He's a multi-talented percussionist.
Incredibly unknown.
Well, that doesn't matter. I've been playing guitar since
all
I'm
gonna change
13. I have a small studio in my apartment, and me and James do some recordings together. And maybe Bladimir will join us one day with some percussions.
I'm looking forward.
So we're going to probably talk a lot about music, and also James always has something interesting to say that flies off the top
Not
of his
today.
head. And I
I forgot my notes.
Oh, jeez. You didn't look at your notes last time,
I know.
so you don't need notes. You got to get over that fear factor.
Okay.
He's spazzing
That
out
is
if you
just
can't see it. If you're
gonna
listening on the audio
compute.
podcast, I think James looks like he's about to pass out.
I thought rapid eye movement was supposed to happen when you're asleep.
Yeah.
Right.
You might be sleeping. We might all
Right.
be sleeping. That's an interesting topic. Not for today, maybe, unless you want to. But that whole idea that this is all a dream and you're part of my dream or I'm part of yours doesn't really, or we're part of each other's
Yeah.
dream in a multi-universe way, So
You know,
Yeah.
now that you mentioned that, I was thinking at one point of the last month, I don't know, that when we die, we wake up.
oh my
To the
God,
dream.
I've thought of that too. That is so cool, eh?
We wake up.
We
We wake
wake
up to I don't know what.
To wherever we're from.
But we wake up of the all this thing was a dream.
Yeah.
In the 1974 production masterpiece theater of I, Claudius, the death scene where Emperor Claudius is dying is the very last scene of the movie, and he gets revisited by the specter of the Sibyl, which was a prophecy, an oracle that Romans would go to. And he's not realizing he's dead. He thinks he goes, but I still fooled him. And she goes, no, you're as dead can be. And he asks about what's going to happen and all that. And she goes, all right, it's time to go. Close your eyes. It's only a short step across the river. And then you'll dream a completely different dream. That's what she said.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and it was really like creepy, like she's this gold masked specter hanging in the shadows, and
Well, that The Matrix was a good
Dream
Hollywood
another dream.
makeup, the good made up story. But the theme of the Matrix, take away all the sci-fi stuff and the weird stuff of being in pods and all that. The Matrix could be our awake world or our sleep world.
Yeah.
It could be, because I notice glitches sometimes, and I always wonder, is like,
playback.
is this the Matrix? Because that shouldn't have happened, or why did that do that? Or do you ever have those moments where you go, that's weird, like what is that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I think we all have, and it makes you think, like, are we in that dream state, like you said, and we're gonna wake up one day? I hope you're right, because I'd like to wake up to wherever I was, and
They're gonna be so cool.
like you said, maybe it's a series of dreams
Yeah.
that you're going to go through, and that our existence is not physical at all. Maybe
Well,
the physical
Brian-
world is the world where dreams happen, and the
Yes.
real world is somewhere else where we really are. But it's not a physical place, so we dream to experience life.
Well, dimensional
Yeah,
perception,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not a religious man, but I have read the Bible a lot. Back when I was younger, I was very curious in theology. And other religions and other philosophies, they intend to imply that God made himself exist in a material world through us. So it's like we're part of his dream. So there's multiple layers of dreams within the dream,
Yeah.
That could be a good movie
I
or a song.
There was a psychiatrist named Brian L. Weiss, I believe. He was in New York City, and in the 60s, he wrote a book called Many Lives, Many Masters. And it was a story of him treating one of his patients who had anxiety, and the only way he could end up treating her was with hypnosis.
Interesting.
And under hypnosis, she went to this whole past life experience where she was an ancient Egyptian priestess, and the people she was meeting in her life now were other characters in past lives. And she described this whole like after death realm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not heaven. It's a place where you're met by a guide. And there's a hierarchy of guides that determine whether you get sent back for another earthly experience or you get remedial training if you're not really roadworthy.
I like that.
And the cool thing I thought was they described meeting people in your current life. You're like grapes on a vine. You keep popping up. It's always the same vine, but different incarnations.
So it's like a reunion every time.
Yeah. Sometimes. And like a sister may appear as a brother or whatever.
I got a story for you.
Go.
When my daughter was about 3, 2.5, 3, when she was talking, she was just newly talking or developing her linguistic skills. And every night when I put her to bed and we talk a little bit. And I always found my daughter was a lot like my grandmother.
Okay.
In weird ways. And my grandmother passed away in the 90s. My daughter was born in the 2000s. So she says to me, and this is word for word, she goes, "Daddy, do you remember when I was the mommy and mommy was the little girl?"
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, if my daughter hears this, she's probably going to be, "Oh my God, how can you mention me in the podcast?" But it's an interesting story. Story. It's an experience that I had that was mind blowing.
Yeah.
And it makes you think. It's like everybody's in your life for a reason. And do you ever notice sometimes you're attracted and have the best relationship with the most annoying people, and you can't understand why you're connected to that person.
Yeah, the brother I never wanted.
Yeah, they drive you crazy, but you can't live without them because they're part of your life. That kind of makes sense with this whole grapevine thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel the same way about my son. He reminds me so much of my second oldest brother.
Wow.
And physical incarnation, but as well as just attitude and natural abilities and stuff. Yeah.
It's interesting because we're up to 8.5 billion people, so makes you wonder how many souls are out there that are
I don't
interacting.
think it's a production line.
It's not a production line, no, but it's like a vine. It just keeps growing, right? And there's new pods that come out, new
energy
grapes,
has
right?
to be conserved. I mean, that's the law of physics.
But I think also created, because there has to be new souls. Like some people, you can tell their level of understanding maturity, no matter how old they are, is not quite the same as other
not quite
people.
baked.
Yeah, not, a little green,
Not
like
quite
we're in
gelled.
aviation, and green means you're not ready for flight yet, right? We're not even in pre-flight. We're green, we're on the assembly line. And some people don't make it to pre-flight, unfortunately, but some people do. And it makes you wonder, the
It's
flying
hilarious.
part.
Your screen behind you is green as you're talking about that.
Well, but it makes you
Yeah.
think, like, if life is like an assembly line, then pre-flight is the last stage before you fly and wake up, like you were saying.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a cool concept. We should write this down while it's on. It's on
That's
recorded. It's
recorded.
recorded, so we don't have to
So
worry about that.
we can you can access any of these archived podcasts by contacting Langley. I'm sure they're monitoring. So hi guys.
Don't forget CSIS. I actually got
Guys.
a listener in Ottawa and a listener in Washington D.C.
Yeah, well, no kidding.
Yeah, and one in Brussels. I don't know about that one. I don't know who that one is yet. If you're the one in Brussels, leave a comment. I'd like to know who you are. And also the one in anybody who's listening, I'd like to know who you are. Just leave comments because that's part of the whole show. Is conversations. It's not between us only. Those conversations are between the listeners and the viewers because this is a podcast on audio and video.
Yes.
So that's interesting. So yeah, we're a grapevine.
Yeah, man.
Puts a whole new meaning to Heard It to the Grapevine.
Yeah.
Great song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, who made that? Okay, Marvin Gaye made that really famous, right? His recording of it.
Yes.
I found a better recording.
Yeah.
Gladys Knight and the Pips.
I haven't heard that one.
And yeah, it's not as well known, and they totally change the groove of it.
Yeah.
And it's way better. It's way better. Like the other one, I mean, it's amazing, but it got way too much airtime, and you just got tired of hearing it. You know.
What about CCR's version?
It's
jam.
similar to Marvin Gaye's.
It's a very nice jam.
Gladys Knight and the Pips is completely different.
Cool. Yeah, that's right. I have to hear that. But yeah, it is similar to Marvin Gaye.
When I first heard it, I went, "That's really cool. What is that?" And it took like the first 10 bars before I went, "Oh, no way. Okay."
I like the idea of covers done by people that have a different twist on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Exactly.
I mean, I come back to Zeppelin a lot and Hendrix, especially Hendrix. I mean, all along the Watchtower. Bob Dylan and Jimi Hendrix, 2 different songs.
Completely.
You know, Dazed and Confused, Yardbirds, 2 different songs. I mean, some of the songs they redo, like Whole Lot of Love is an old Muddy Waters tune that was just
Really?
very simple. And they just turned it into this, you know, riffosaurus.
Yeah, Riffosaurus. I like that. Do you remember when Jimmy Page came in on the double-decker bus at the closing ceremonies of the Beijing Olympics?
That was awesome.
It was like China just put on the most incredible closing ceremony.
That
I mean,
was
it
awesome.
was Cirque du Soleil on steroids in a stadium size capacity.
Yeah.
And you're going, London's next. What the hell how can you top that?
Yeah.
And they sent in one guy with a guitar.
And a chick.
He ripped that stadium a new,
Yeah.
you know what.
Because it was Lady Gaga that sang it, or
No.
Somebody-
It was a black singer woman.
oh, was it? Yeah, okay. I know she was popular. I knew the name
But
when I heard
man,
it.
that was just like game over.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, China. No matter what you did, you don't whoop Led Zeppelin. And being played live by it just took it.
On a
was like one of the
double-decker
best
bus on
perform-
top of
Yeah.
it. That was, you know.
They came out of the roof.
Anybody listening who hasn't seen that, you should look it up on YouTube. It's just, if you're a Zeppelin
Yeah.
fan or just a fan of, you know, entertainment in general, it's really cool.
Like some of those events, I remember. Oh my God! It was the. Did you lose a signal?
Yeah, it's good, but we got everything else going.
Okay, I was watching the Nagano Olympics, the Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
And when they did the closing, they had Seiji Ozawa conducting a symphony,
Yeah.
Beethoven's Ninth, Ode to Joy, right?
Yep.
And everybody in the stands in the stadium, they all had cards and they were singing in German. All these Japanese people singing in German.
Interesting.
Now, there was the symphony, there was the choir, there were the soloists, the vocal soloists in the stadium, and everybody singing, but there was also an equivalent orchestra in South Africa. There was an equivalent orchestra in Australia. There was an equivalent orchestra in London, Boston, Chicago, and New York.
Jeez.
And San Francisco, all simulcasting, playing the same thing in synchronicity around the globe.
That's a logistical nightmare.
It is freaky. Some places are nighttime, some places are day, and it's one of the most incredible YouTubes you could ever watch. And at the end, when Seiji Ozawa ends it, you know, and the whole place is quiet, he gets this look on his face, and I looked at him and I thought to myself, you just conducted the largest symphony on the planet ever. And I thought, if aliens are watching us, let this be the moment, because this is when we're at our best.
Yeah.
It's so moving.
It's either that or Lucille Ball. You know that Lucille Ball is one of the the Olympics, the German Olympics was the first thing that was ever broadcasting.
Yes.
And that if they ever see anything, they probably turned around.
Well,
After that.
did you ever see the movie or read the book Contact?
Yes, that's
Carl Sagan's last work, right?
It's awesome.
And that was the very first television signal embedded in the message they got from Vega system.
Yeah.
And it was the Führer saying, I declare the 36th Olympics open, welcome to Germany, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah.
And the security agencies that were monitoring this SETI installation were like, okay, that's enough. And they were calling in the soldiers. It's like, whoa, panic mode.
No kidding.
What the hell? But chronologically, that's the first signal
Yep.
that went out. So,
yeah. And it makes sense
radio
that
physics
that's
or radio
what they
physics.
would hear, you know? Yeah. That was a good movie, Contact. That was really good. I really
Brilliant.
enjoyed it.
Brilliant. The book was amazing.
It gets confusing sometimes, but just because they're throwing so much at you.
Yeah.
You know.
There were some changes from the book to the movie. In the movie, Jodie Foster was solo. In the book, there are 5 humans.
Mm-hmm.
But the same thing, you drop through, 18 hours time elapse, no record. Like for them, it was instantaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And where she went blows my mind.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of people try and imagine what things are like that we haven't seen. And I think it's impossible because we don't have that capacity. It's like if there's such thing as heaven, you know, like after death. I always say that every person, every religion, every culture is going to be surprised. Nothing is going to be like anything we already imagined.
Yeah.
Because how can we? Our mind's not... We can barely imagine peace on earth, let alone something that's magnificent.
John Lennon wrote a song called Imagine.
Yeah.
Just as you have you understand there's possibility that there's nothing, that's going to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Because everybody will believe in this on that.
Yeah.
We go there, there's nothing.
But the good thing about nothing is you won't know. So it's like falling asleep and that's it, it's done.
Exactly.
But if you fall asleep, you end up dreaming. So your concept before of when you dream, you're actually in your real part of your reality that's somewhere else, you know? Because I find dreams, well, I mean, the scientific analysis of dreams is that it's the subconscious telling you things that you've seen subconsciously that your brain can't handle in a conscious state, so it reminds you while you're sleeping. But I think it...
Beg your pardon.
I think it goes further than that, you know? I think what you were saying makes a lot of sense. What do you think about dreams, James?
Ooh, sometimes the reception's very good. Sometimes there are way too many commercials.
But what's your concept of what a dream is?
Oh, I think it's just my brain unscrambling a whole bunch of concerns.
Some data, yeah.
Yeah.
Defragging your hard drive.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Big part of it.
It's maintenance.
But I also am a very spiritual person. I believe there's also a spiritual aspect to dream. I think you get information.
So sometimes it's like connected to what you have been living in those days or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes come with things like out of nowhere. Like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
what is this?
I had a dream once. I've been listening to radio shows since I'm a kid and late night stuff, and they always talk about conspiracies and UFOs and all kinds of scary stuff. And I never dream about that. And I watched a lot of horror movies, and I never dream about that. And some people say, "Oh, you shouldn't watch that. You're gonna have a nightmare." I've never had that. But one time, I had this dream, and it involved where we work. Building 310 was being occupied by some alien race. Herding in all
management.
Herding in all the employees, and they had like massive weapons. They were lizard looking, and there were ships hovering over the shop and everything. And I was like, this is a good movie. It's just a good movie. So I can see Leia has come to
sweetie.
visit.
My favorite kitty.
I asked her before she was going to join the podcast because she's done it before.
Yeah.
And look, she wants to
She
be
was
here.
on last time.
Yeah, there's the cat.
Mustachio kitty. Who's that?
You like
Bladimir.
cats, Bladimir?
I'm more like a dog guy, but yeah, I have no problem with the cats.
Yeah, I'm a cat guy. I'm not a dog guy. There's two kinds of people, eh?
Yeah, I guess.
Cats or dogs.
Elvis or Beatles?
Yeah, Zeppelin or the Stones.
No kidding.
You know, well, I'm 61-year-old, and I love dogs. I never have my own dog in my life.
No, eh?
And I live in an apartment, so it's really hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes I travel like to Panama for 2 months or whatever. And,
Mm-hmm.
But I really would like to, before I die, to have a dog.
My apartment is dog friendly. There are a lot, and some breeds are okay with apartment living, and there's a lot that are inappropriate.
Whoa.
Like it's rough for the beasties.
I think a retriever should never be
Left alone.
or in a house by itself. They need to run.
Yes.
They need to check the perimeter. They all have their role.
Their
in
drives.
life,
Yeah.
You cannot have a dog to have it like that in an apartment.
No,
they
it's
need
almost
room
cruel.
And just to, if you go to work, you leave them alone for 8-9 hours.
no, you need 2 dogs, huh? You cannot have one
Okay.
because they keep
keep each
company
other
to
in
each other.
company.
Okay.
One
But,
dog, it's like a torture. You leave the dog alone.
Yeah.
But
they
some
go
dogs
nuts.
are good, like you say, with another dog, and they do. But some dogs are okay alone, but a lot of them aren't. And
No.
I think
No, they're very social animals.
they
Cats are
need
different.
that. They need that company. They need connection, not communication, but to socialize. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I was in Panama, my family we have a dog. That the dog. We were at the house. We were a lot of people. We were like 8 people or whatever. And that dog loved it when you were going out. He see the movement like, okay, people are getting ready to go somewhere. So he was like getting ready to, So if you open the door of the car, he was the first one to jump in. But when he was not in the plan to bring with us, we keep it away, whatever. We're going for the day sometime to spend the day of one of our aunts or whatever. And we're coming back. He was going on the table, the dinner table, and sleep there. He never did that when we were there. It's like, okay, you leave me alone.
He was going to punish you.
So we
look at
noticed
me,
because when we get in the car, we have the driveway and we have the window and we can see the table. And when he hear the car, he jumps. You can see he jump from the table. He was sleeping.
Little devil,
Yeah.
that's so
So
funny.
he can see you from the table.
Yeah, he could see.
So
the
maybe
car
that's why
when
he
the car was
sleeps
coming,
there, so he can watch for you coming home.
exactly.
Wow.
Well, you remember
But-
the story I told you about the dog and the woman who went to read a book in the park?
Yes.
The dog got up and went to the door the moment she started walking home because they filmed it on both sides. I mentioned this in another podcast. I won't go through the whole story, but they know.
Yeah, they know.
They have a sixth, like number 6, right? Sixth
Yeah.
sense, yeah. Not a sixth sense because that's a whole other story.
Yeah, wow, amazing. They like that dog with us at home. It will never do something like that. Never,
Nah.
never, ever.
Nah.
No, yeah, they
When
know.
he was alone.
Oh, I think they play dumb sometimes. Like they're
Yeah,
way
yeah.
smarter than they let on. So we go, oh well, what are you gonna do?
But
He's
I'm
a
sure
dog."
if there were 2 dogs,
No.
at that point, there were 2 dogs, it would not behave like that. He would be into something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Or they would both do something bad together and say, "Look what we can do."
It could be, but I don't know. I don't want
You
to.
always
I
have
don't
that
want to
one
think
dog
way.
that influences the other dog to do bad things, just like people. We all have that one friend that says, "Come on, let's just do it, we'll be fine."
Have you seen those videos in Instagram or whatever? Like the other dog, like, "Hey, who did this? Who destroyed my shoes?" And the other one was like,
Yeah.
he did it. He did it.
He tells tattletales, yeah.
It was nuts with the Warriors.
Yeah, and the one who's guilty always puts his head
Yeah,
down.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the other one was like a-
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
That's so
so
funny.
they know. They have a good communication understanding. They have a certain amount of words they understand, right?
Yes.
For sure.
So do cats, but the things with cats, they don't talk. Like dogs will talk.
Yeah.
When a cat meows, all he wants is something.
Right.
He doesn't talk just for talking. Cats are more intuitive. They understand how you feel. And you could be wanting to pet a cat, but you're agitated inside and the cat will feel it. It won't come to you. But if you're calm, it'll come to you. Cats pick up your vibe big time. I mean, I've had cats all my life, so I've noticed this. It's like when you're sad, they'll come up and snuggle with you. They're amazing. It's crazy. And dogs are the same way too.
Yeah.
But it's just that cats don't communicate as much as dogs do. They don't understand as many words as dogs do. My cat knows move. If I say move, if I'm coming towards a chair and I say move, she gets off.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And she's like a dog, but she meets me at the door. She knows I'm coming too. So yeah,
Yeah,
animals are interesting.
I had a neighbor once, a nice young lady, and she had a cat named Merlin. And I think she had a big witch stick as well in her place. It was
I
kind of,
dated a girl like that once.
yeah, and she fit the bill. Anyway, the first time when I was over at her place having coffee one day, and I go, oh, you have a cat? She goes, yeah. She goes, Merlin, viens sit. And the cat came over on the first call. I was like, okay, that's
Unusual.
That's well trained. Is this a circus cat? A special trained circus? I've heard of these. Russian trained circus cat.
Gotta be the Russian cats.
Oh, of course,
Russian
of course.
circus
I had
are
the masters
best,
of
right?
circus
Yeah,
in many ways,
yeah.
not just entertainment.
I understand.
You know, I read up something the other day. Which countries in the world have never been colonized?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Russia has never been colonized, but it's been conquered.
Yes.
Japan has never been colonized, and there was another one. I can't remember. Anyway, it was very interesting, like, because the whole, we talk about this a lot, the whole imperial expansion, right up from the time sailing ships were making their mark in the 14th and 15th centuries, and well, even before that in Roman times, but whatever.
Well, the
times.
advent of increased travel capacity has increased the amount of imperialism.
Yeah.
It's just a venue, a vehicle to get to where you're going to get more land and stuff.
Mm.
An interesting point that something I saw yesterday. You know what's going on in Texas, right? They're blocking the border up.
Yeah.
They want to separate from the states.
Yeah.
And did you know, and this is just hypothetical, did you know that if they did, they would be the 45th richest country in the world?
Really?
They would have a bigger economy than Russia.
Good Lord.
And they have one of the most highly paid, like rich people. They have some of the most rich people in one place in the world. That would be an interesting situation, eh?
Yeah, something I would like to see.
Well, secession has been on the books for a while for Texas. Don't mess with Texas, Lone Star State, all that. Yeah, you were the first one to tell me a couple of weeks ago when that was coming up, and I was like, oh, and then sure enough, then it's all over the news, and I'm like, wow. I'm wondering when Taylor Swift's going to weigh in on this. Because, oh my God, the hating that's going on.
Yeah, every football game though, I have nothing against Taylor Swift. I actually admire her. She gave $200,000 to every truck driver on her tour as a bonus.
Absolutely.
So she's a good person. It's the media. It's not her. It's the media.
Yeah,
they're
perverted in circus,
soaking every drop of
course,
they can get out of her. I watch football, and every time the Chiefs play, they show her like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
once is enough.
Yes.
Once is enough. I mean,
hey man, what's a news story made of? Scandal, violence, celebrity, sex.
Yeah.
Those 4 legs make up a news story.
Yeah.
If it's got one of those legs, it'll be in the 24-hour cycle. If it's got 2 or more of those legs, it's going to be around for a while.
Perpetual news. Yeah.
I mean, the OJ thing, who's the Canadian runner, Ben Johnson? Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's just like, after a while.
Enough is enough. Too much is too much. I mean, look, let her have her own life.
What was the Kim Basinger thing? She was advocating for Save the Timberwolves, and there was a conference at some place in the northwestern United States, and she was going to be there.
Yeah.
And there were tons of scientists and researchers and experts on the habits of this species of wolf, and they were getting no media coverage. Kim Basinger shows up, there's all sorts of media coverage.
That's the hook.
And one guy said to the other, what does she know about a timber wolf that these experts don't? And he said, nothing. But the media will show up because he's here. And that's why the scientists invited her, because they know this. And it's like, yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Publicity. Yeah. So let's talk about music again. You brought some toys.
I did. So I got the steel tongue drum.
Yeah.
Which was played before. This is a Tibetan singing bowl, and you can either strike it. It's a meditation thing, and or you can do the finger on the wine glass thing.
Oh wow!
Do you have to hit it once and then goes around?
No.
Or no.
No, you can start from cold.
Wow!
Oh wow!
Starting to feel
It's
sedated.
getting louder, right?
Yeah.
I'm not pushing hard
so's
either.
the microphone. That is cool.
And this is supposed to affect your chakras and vibration and stuff. I collected it because I love to collect odd instruments, especially anything that you hit and makes a noise, like a percussion instrument.
And you collect odd friends like me.
There you go. I'm beginning to detect a pattern here.
Yeah. So what else did you bring?
I brought
The djembe.
a djembe.
Well, we'll save that one for last because you got to displace yourself.
Right. And this cymbal.
It is cool.
A couple of different kinds of cymbals. This is called an ozone cymbal because it's full of O's. And I think last time, sorry, go ahead.
Is this to play with a stick or you can play with your hand too?
Either. Jesus Lord. Okay. Yeah, last time we did a podcast, I talked about buying cymbals, and it's one of the, you cannot buy cymbals online. Do not do that, because you need to know the qualities. Everyone is going to be completely unique.
Yeah.
And one of the things I do is I won't use a stick in the store. I'll just, with the edge of my thumb, and that will tell me the speed of the crescendo. Okay? And I picked this one with less material. It's got a very fast, it gets very bright very quickly, but diminishes really quickly. It's got that whoosh, that wave kind of gong,
Yeah.
mini gong.
It's really cool.
And you get some really wicked rolls out of this. It's got that, yeah. Now, there's that kind of cymbal.
You're going to pop my processor in my computer.
Sorry, dude. There's that kind of cymbal. And then there's a traditional. This is a 16-inch medium crash.
Cool.
Again, completely different. It's a little more bronzy, a little deeper in tone.
I
But the
love
cool
it.
thing you can do with this one, it doesn't work so good with the ozone one. Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can get this here. I had a friend who had a cello once, and I got to mess around with it. And then I thought, what if I take this and use it on the edge of a cymbal as if the cymbal was a string. So you stabilize the bell and just draw it on the edge.
Wow.
You can get all these really creepy,
cool.
dark.
We're going to have to incorporate that into a song sometime when you jam here.
Bow needs to be tightened up a bit here. It's going to be better.
That is really cool.
Anyway, it's a very subtle sound.
Did you see that somewhere else or just came to your head like, okay, let's try this?
I might have seen it in a classical percussion section.
Wow.
Because I've
Where I
never
can't
seen
remember
that.
ever seeing
First
that
time I
on
see that.
stage. Yeah.
Well, that's like the bow in Days of Confused when he came out with that. That was like, you can use
yeah.
a bow on a guitar.
The bow, it's old, it needs to be tensed up a little bit, and I've gotten more screechy sounds out of it, and you got to put wax on the bow, and
Yeah.
I couldn't find it, so anyway.
I have a couple
Gizmo.
of bows that my friend gave me or lent to me, and they need to be tightened more. They're starting to get loose, and it needs the wax because I
Yeah.
tried on the guitar.
No.
It doesn't do a
No.
great job. And I heard somewhere that when they were on tour, he'd use 1 to 3 bows per night.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. They shred up.
Because when he bangs it, you can see in the video the song
Yeah.
remains the same. It's all shredding, you know.
Yeah.
But not per night, but it would last not more than 2 shows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, they're not fencing quality.
But playing the violin, I always love the timbre of a violin. It's just a beautiful sound.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I
It's
just
incredible.
love that. I don't know if I might try it one day because I just think it's an awesome. And also the ukulele. You made me think about that. That's an interesting thing. I'd get an electric one though. That'd be cool. Yeah, plug that into
I have
a
an
fuzz,
electric
you know.
one too.
Yeah.
I hope you get the one that you ordered
Yeah,
He showed me the picture of this custom-made ukulele from
Nicaragua.
an artist in Nicaragua, and it is beautiful. The
Wow.
inlay work, woodwork. Oh my God!
Well, you'll be invited back for sure, so you can bring it next time.
Well, I heard it. We'll see when I get it. So we're gonna play a little bit more, or
Yeah, you guys want to jam? Go for it.
I would like to do something with James and the djembe.
Sure.
Just be careful.
Don't.
Just be mindful of the volume because
Was
your
an
mic's so
extra
hot. Yeah.
An extra punch.
Just be careful with the volume. That's all.
For the neighbors?
No, for the microphones.
The mics. Okay.
I'll spend 3 hours editing the audio.
Yeah, because
It's too
this is
loud.
very loud. So. Or you follow me?
Yeah.
As I walk through the jungle, the distant sound of music attracted me. So I approached. Two guys having fun. Nice.
Wow.
Little golf
What a
claps.
cool groove, man.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Nicely done, man.
Okay,
The
that's
first
sweet.
time I really saw live ukulele, I've never seen you play live. That's really sweet. I was on Molokai. It was a Sunday morning church service at this cafe, outdoor kind of like center of town kind of thing. It's a very sparsely populated island in the Hawaiian Islands, and there were a dozen little old Japanese ladies in sundresses with big straw hats, and they all had ukuleles, and it was a Sunday morning kind of a church service, and they were all playing and singing in Hawaiian language, all these ukuleles, and this other woman had, it looked like as if you took the spine of something and put it down curved, like, or hung it up on a rack, and it was like untuned xylophone.
Oh, wow.
And she was playing it like a glockenspiel. It was this curved thing. Oh my God, the sound was amazing. Anyway, ukulele, very powerful instrument.
Very cool.
Ask Linda Makuchi.
Linda Makuchi.
Linda Makuchi.
Don't know her.
Garfunkel and Oates.
The ukulele.
Garfunkel and Oates?
Yeah, there's these two comedian women.
Oh, no.
They make up songs, and one plays acoustic guitar, the other one
Oh, that
ukulele.
rings a bell. No,
The
yeah.
ukulele, like in the 50s or something, or 50s or 60s, was like becoming popular and then disappear.
I remember when
And
I
now
was
like
a kid.
it's coming back. You check on the YouTube or whatever, all kind of lessons, all kind of people doing fantastic things with four strings.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And all type of different ukuleles coming out too.
Oh, yeah. I have a friend who plays ukulele, and she has a group of ukulele players called Ukulele Disaster.
Wow.
That is such a
We
great
have to
name.
go to see that.
Yeah.
I have to go to see that.
Yeah, they play here in Hudson sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're at the music festival every year, I think. Well, they were last year. I remember that. Yeah, very
I have to see
interesting. Ukulele.
Or maybe have some
Ukulele
videos on the
disaster.
internet. Maybe
That sounds cool.
they might have some videos on the internet to check for.
Yeah.
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 What a great name. Finding a name for a band is so hard. For me, it's like, you have a good name. I think it's good, but like when, the same thing when I put down a password.
Mm-hmm.
I've had problems with passwords because to
Oh, yeah.
me it means something. To everybody else, they're like, why would you pick that word? Like it's okay for you, but us, we don't understand it because it's so, I don't know.
Eclectic.
And it just doesn't work.
Passwords
It's not like
are
a
not
common, like,
pronounceable or spellable. It's copy
Yeah.
paste only. It's like there's 15 consonants and 2 vowels, and that's the word. It's like, what the heck is that?
sorry.
That's the beauty of James. That's just who you are. We love you the way you are, James. You brought your balls with you.
Oh yeah. These are Baoding iron balls.
Chinese musical balls, by the way, in case anyone's getting some wrong ideas.
They first of all, life's tough. Everyone needs a second set. These are made of steel. Even better. I use these. I've had this particular pair for probably 35 years, and for me, they help maintain dexterity, strength. Reportedly help control blood pressure, and I'm a mechanic by trade. Work with my hands all the time. I find this really improves dexterity. They're inexpensive. They're like $15 at today's prices.
I have a set of those too.
The problem is it's hard to find large. All the ones I find now in a store are smaller, and
Well, the size, that's the same size as I have.
yeah, you go through the small ones, you burn them out real fast.
Yeah.
You need anyway, you can do 2 hands at once. It's
So
kind
this
of
is
like
the
a
Uke and Balls song.
There you go.
you can balls.
Uke and Balls, I like that.
There you go.
Nice.
We have very talented people here today. I feel left out.
Why?
No.
Plug in your axe, man.
I'm not set up for the sound.
Yeah.
But we'll do that another time. We'll rearrange the situation where we can do that.
I think we should find a time to try to make a theme for the
Theme song. Well, I already
song.
have one that I did with a buddy of mine. It's
Okay,
called
okay.
Finger Killer. But I'm open to adding other stuff as I go along, so we can work on
Maybe
something.
a little bit more acoustic or whatever. You know?
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. It could be the intro to different episodes and stuff like that. That's a great idea. I'm set up now so I can actually videotape us jamming in the studio.
Right on.
So we could actually do a podcast that's only jamming. That would be really cool.
That'd be awesome.
Sounds
Yeah,
like a great
3
idea.
cameras, 3 people. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. You brought a cajon too, eh?
Yep, he has one here too.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's a real fun instrument.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The snares on the inside of it is just it's so subtle, portable. Anything you play percussion wise, if you got to carry it, it becomes a drag.
Yeah. Well, you guys have the worst drum sets.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. In a symphony, I guess it would be the timpani player and the bass fiddle player. Or the piano player. I mean, pianos are nuts too.
I think the singers are the luckiest ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just carry a mic in a little pouch and that's it.
And all that guilt.
All the guilt.
All the guilt, yes.
all you singers, no hating, but you got it good.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. One time, this guy came
At
over
band
to
camp?
my...
One time at band camp?
One time at band camp, this guy came over to jam. I was trying to make up a little band. He was a guitarist, really good. And I had the drum set up in my living room. We went over a few things. It was cool. On the way out, I was helping him carry his amp and stuff downstairs. And he met a neighbor. And a very nice young lady named Jessie. And we're going down in the elevator, and she's all dressed up in a soccer uniform. He goes, hey, and this guy was like Parisian French. He goes, hey, you're going to play soccer? She goes, yeah, I have a game tonight. Oh, that's fantastic. What position do you play? And she goes, oh, I'm a goalie. And he goes, that's not the position. And it was kind of like I've heard those kind of derogatory comments. I do not subscribe or agree. But about singers, when they refer to their instrument, because it's not your instrument, it's your voice. No, it is a completely different thing. All respects. Okay?
It's semantics in a way because...
But it's deceiving because, like you said, there's nothing. You show up, you got it.
You got it. You're there.
Yeah.
I mean, look at a cappella groups.
Oh, insane.
That is insane. I
That is
love
insane.
acapella.
There are so many, anything that's chanting. You know, one of the coolest vocal experiences I ever had, I would do djembe and tambo. It's another kind of instrument. I didn't bring it today. Next time, for this marathon yoga class.
Okay.
The yogini I was studying with at the time, she's the world record holder for most continuous yoga. I think she did something retarded like 37 hours straight.
Oh my God. I can't even last 30 seconds.
To practice this, she did 107 sun salutations a day for 107 days.
Wow.
And I guess this Sanskrit numerology, whatever. Yeah. And it was all Guinness World Book recorded and all that, and it's very cool. Anyway, to train for this, like a couple of days before she did the attempt, there was this marathon yoga class where the objective was to do 40 people doing 107 sun salutations. And she had guest instructors come in. One person would do 10, another person would do another 10, so on and so forth. And this one guy, when his 15 minutes was up or whatever, he had everybody get together and goes, okay, we're all going to do a continual Om. So 40 people in the room.
Wow.
And he goes, when you run out of air, I want you to start over. So it started at the same time, but it quickly became like this, right? It was the coolest sound to hear 40 unsynchronized voices doing a deep vibration chant. It was like, that's neat, and this does not require choral training.
Yeah,
it's just something that we can do. And it was like, but like everybody was really, oh man.
That's pretty cool. I'd
it was
like
sharp.
to see that.
It was sharp.
I'm going to look that up on YouTube, see if there's any...
I hope it's been redone. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's the great thing about YouTube, is you think of something, you look it up, it's right there. I call it the University of YouTube. I learned so much stuff off of YouTube. There's somebody instructing you.
You can get a question answer to anything.
Did you know that YouTube is the second largest search engine?
No.
Because people ask YouTube questions. How do I fix the brakes on my F-150? And that's what people use YouTube for mostly.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, everybody does that. That's how do you build a home studio? That's how I built my home studio.
You have to repair something or open something and you never have done it before. You check for the tutorial.
Yeah, I learned how to build guitars and modify guitars through YouTube. It's just an amazing source. And you know, the kids today, and I'm not hating on them, but they have all this access to information.
Oh, hate on them. They're horrible.
And they always ask questions without looking it up first.
Yeah.
It's like you have in your hand, which you watch 20 hours a day, the answers to every question in the universe.
Yes.
Pretty much. The known universe. And they still ask questions like, I don't understand, I don't know how to do that. Well, look it up. I mean, we had libraries, now you have a phone. YouTube could teach you any single thing you want. So I think that's a valuable tool. It's the biggest gift the internet has given us is education and knowledge. But it's not used for that most of the time. It's used, for...
Cat videos.
And online gambling.
Totally worthy. Cat videos.
I like cat videos.
I love cat videos.
I think cat videos make
better
me
than the
smile.
news.
But I don't watch the news anymore.
Oh, man. It's rough.
I only learn about what's going on through TikTok and YouTube and Facebook, I figured if it's on Facebook, it's important because if people are talking about it a lot, then you've got to check into it. But if it's big, if it's not big, I don't care. I mean, if there's, a ship flying over the White House, I'll find out on Facebook.
I follow the Twitter, well, not called Twitter anymore. X, Instagram, Facebook. Mostly on X. It's amazing how people, for example, what's happening in Gaza now.
Mm. I
know what happened, the terrorist attack was terrible, but people don't go beyond, they don't see the whole package. They say, okay,
it's a big
they killed 1,200 people of ours, so we're gonna kill 25,000 of them, and it's normal. It's like a yes. That's what they should do.
Yeah, I don't pick sides in politics, but I do pick humanity, and I think
Exactly.
humanity
It's
should
not a
be-
matter of picking sides.
Yeah.
It's a matter of
No.
how in what head you can believe
Justify
like okay,
that much.
you got 25,000 in 3 months because they kill 1,200 in 2 days or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, you know, an eye for an eye stops at one eye, you know? Yeah.
And that's just guaranteed that they will keep going.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, the leader over there, Netanyahu, said, okay, we're going to end up with Hamas, you know. No, not really. you already put a lot of seed on the ground
Feeding the fire.
for the next, I don't know,
Yeah.
another 50 years.
Yeah.
Anyways, I didn't want to get into that, but
No.
my point is, the people, like, okay, yeah, kill 25,000 more because they deserve it.
Yeah. There's unbalance. There's things that are unbalanced in the world today, and it goes for every subject, and everything's polarized. It's you're either
Nowadays,
right, or,
yeah.
it's you're right or left. You're down. It's a 50-50. It's almost like, you know, look at the United States with Texas. 26 states are rooting for Texas. That's half the country. A little more. I don't know about demographically, population-wise, how many people
Yeah.
that comes to, but it's half the states, or more than half the states. It's left and right. It's black and white. It's yes or no. There is no middle ground anymore.
And if
And
you're
the pendulum, the pendulum always swings right
Two
past.
extremes.
And we had the extreme pendulum, you know, post Second World War. That was very like, you know, we're all the best and everybody else is not. And then we went to the 90s where people were sort of like, yeah, we're all good together. And now we're going the other direction of like, oh, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. I'm really anxious for the pendulum to slow down and kind of reach the middle.
And if you stand in the middle right now, they will say, okay, you're not with us, you're against us.
Yep.
Just like that.
Exactly. And that excludes intellectual conversation.
Exactly.
Because you can't not have an idea that's in the middle. You can't be fair. Fairness doesn't count anymore. Oh, you're an extremist, or oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. But I mean, not everything's black and white. Life is mostly gray, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree. Black and white is like, you know, extreme. Gray is really where we're at.
Well, we
because
have
not
all
everything
kind
is
of,
clear.
we call it in Spanish matices. It is all kind of tones of colors in between, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all kinds.
Yeah.
There's middle. There's a little bit more on one side. There's a little more on the other, and then the extremes.
Extremes are
So
horrible.
we have all kinds, you know, and we have to consider and respect that.
I've never really been good with nuance in relationships. I'm a pretty black and white kind of guy.
Yeah.
And it's somebody very wise said to me once, it serves you very well in your job. Because
Yes.
in aircraft maintenance, it is go or no go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And being able to see that as quickly as possible while you're desnagging something is an advantage.
Yeah.
It's not so great dealing with people.
No, because
But it
people
works
are-
great with machines.
People
So
are
I'll
in
stick
the
with
gray
it. I just got to
zone.
recognize it.
People are complex.
Yeah.
There's no. It's all gray with people.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no black and white with people.
And once you've gotten a read on somebody, time goes by, they'll change,
People change.
which
all
is
the
normal.
time.
I change. My perspectives and priorities have changed.
Well, that's why relationships dwindle away, because we don't change in the same manner. Some couples are together for 30 years and they change together.
Did you ever see Ian Bagg? He's a stand-up comedian. He did a thing. All right, who here has been married for over 35 years? And people put up their hands. He goes, all right, you win. Go out in the parking lot and take whichever car you like. You're the winners. And he says, you, ma'am, how did you meet your husband? Or, you, sir, how did you meet your wife? You've been 36 years. My God. And he says, the husband replies, I was cruising on East Street. And everyone's like, what? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, cruising on East Street, eh? Okay. You know, you're not supposed to marry the hooker. And, oh my God, this guy, he's so funny.
You know, I
his voice is a
miss
scream.
controversial, rude humor. It's a perspective to make you think how stupid things are.
Yeah. You ever go to the Nasty Show?
I'd never been, but I've seen clips.
Man, is it worth it. It is great.
Because guys like George Carlin would not survive today. They would not be on TV. He's too controversial. Guys like Andrew Dice Clay. Forget about it. This guy wouldn't survive today. But back in the day, we laughed at it.
You're picking on.
Well, back in the day, he picked on everybody, and equal opportunity picking on everybody kind of guy, and he was funny. But now he's not funny anymore. Now he's all those bad things. So the pendulum has gone too far. Like the middle ground. And that's why I was saying the '90s. We were kind of, we kind of dipped through the middle, not too slowly. We kind of went right by it, and things got controversial again. But I miss those old humors, like Dennis. What's that guy?
Leary.
Dennis Leary.
Oh my God! No Cure for Cancer. That was such a great album.
Did you see the movie with Stallone where they're in the future and everything's owned
Demolition
by Taco Bell?
Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, exactly. He was great in that movie.
He was fantastic.
And
that was
what
hilarious.
he said in that movie
a rat burger. That was great.
feels good today. What he said in his movie represents a lot of what's going on today. And he goes, I want my steak.
Yeah.
I want my double cheeseburger. And I want to smoke a cigar. And yeah, I mean, it might not be the best thing for you, but it's your life. I just think, if you want to do what you do it. I respect anybody's lifestyle. I don't care what they do. Just respect mine, And that's where the middle ground is. Let's all be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be nice to somebody. Don't criticize their differences,
No.
And I like saying that.
It hurts
nice
when you don't get validation from others, and it doesn't mean people gotta fall over. Oh, you're so great, and this and that and this and that. But just a little acknowledgement goes a long way.
Yeah. Definitely.
One of the most disturbing scenes of that movie, Demolition Man, is when he's riding in the back of the police car and the two officers in the front, and they're listening to the radio, and it's all the golden oldies, but they're commercial jingles, like Oscar Mayer Wiener hot dog song. It was just, I found that so disturbing.
But it's very funny because it's probably a possibility.
Well, I compare that today to, I'm going to sound like a snob here, the ability of people to listen to different kinds of music.
Yeah. We have so much variety now.
And lack of musical appreciation education, it's not emphasized in school. I don't say people are like, I don't think it's up to them. It's what they get exposed to. You grew up in Central America.
Yep.
What's it like as a kid? Do you play like naturally with friends with bongos and stuff, or?
Not really. And nowadays, it's easier it's easier, a little bit easier.
Like, how did you learn
to achieve it? Hey, we play with a bucket or whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't have real instruments.
So
and then one guy got a guitar and he learned to play a little bit of guitar, and then we started like that. Like, okay, the guy with the guitar, the other one with the bucket and a little bit piece of metal that sounded like a cowbell, and and eventually we started getting things, but we started from zero.
Yeah. Because here it's like, if you have music lessons, it's because...
No music lessons at all.
No, but if you're exposed to music at all, you got more chances of getting exposed to a local hockey game. Or building, or in my day, building a tree fort, riding a bike. Okay? Yeah. But for people to sit around and jam with homemade instruments like you're describing,
Yeah.
And that's kind of a drag. You sent me a bunch of videos of, like, I remember this one, there was this older lady singing, and it was in a little terrace in Cuba somewhere.
Yeah.
And the playing was fantastic, and it's folk music, essentially.
Yeah.
It's all homemade. This is not, but oh my God, the understanding of the grooves and the rhythms. Like, I learned rhythms through formal classes.
Mm-hmm.
When I started playing with Bladimir, he'd go, oh yeah, that's a this kind of rhythm. Oh, that's a that kind of rhythm. And okay. And so I recognize that your deep understanding, your understanding is way more profound than mine of rhythms. you have them named as if they were like spiritual entities. Me, I go, well, that's on page 26. It's written down like I don't have a name for the groove.
Well, we talked about this once before. I don't know nothing about music, but when I learn something, I realize, oh, that's what I do, but it's got a name.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is something like in Latin America, when you're a kid, you go to the birthday parties, and then they tell you, they tell the kid, okay, you play the music, salsa, merengue, whatever it is they play with her. And say, okay, boys and girls, if you don't dance, you have no cake.
Oh.
They said that, but it's not like it's true that they wouldn't give it a cake. It's just to motivate them.
Yeah.
To go to dance.
Yeah.
So you and then you have the.
And you're learning salsa.
Yeah, and then you have like the 7-year-old, the 8-year-old, the 9-year-old, whatever boy or girl, and then like okay, you put it to dance, and and then some don't want to go, and eventually you have like a 3 or 4 couple of kids dancing, and they do whatever they can because they don't know, but that's the first steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they are 12, 15, hey, they dance salsa,
they look
dance
amazing.
merengue, whatever,
Yeah. I was invited to a wedding, oh God, ages a million years ago. And it was a young couple from Trinidad who were getting married. And when everybody started dancing, I was like, wow, I am like an amputated turtle. It was so bad. I mean, I might as well have been a doorstop.
You danced like Elaine
brick.
on Seinfeld?
Oh my God, no. It was all, and I said, where did you learn that? Like, I took salsa lessons for 2 years. Wasn't pretty. And then the school burned down.
Another thing.
That was the retribution into your.
Another thing is like when I came here, you go like a Latino club. Okay, we're gonna dance. So you have a bunch of people from here, like girls. Girls here they pick up very fast. The salsa or whatever, But the only problem is for us that we don't grow up like going to school like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. No. You go by your ear and you follow the bass, you follow the drum, and you dance with the rhythm.
Intuitively.
With the rhythm. So and then you go to dance with all these ladies, and then like one told me once, I cannot dance with you because you don't know how to dance. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the structure of things. Like the way I play guitar is unstructured. I play what I feel. I don't know what I'm doing, and I just do it. So it's sort of the way the dancing is you just feel it. Like I listen to a drum beat and a riff comes out, and I just do it. I don't think about it. I don't go, okay, well, this is a certain beat, so I got to do a certain style. I got to do that. No, I have no idea what I'm doing. And some people go, oh, wow, you got a Latin beat with a rock rhythm. Yeah, well, I don't think about what I'm doing. I just feel what I'm doing, So it's the same thing for dancing. Yeah. Dancing should be an expression of freedom, not you got to do this step, that step, that step. I don't think, I understand performance dancing and all that stuff, choreography, which blows my mind. I see my daughter used to do dance class, and I used to go.
I don't know how they memorize routines.
Oh my God,
it's a mystery to me.
They would do like 6 songs, and there would be like the higher grade ones would have like 6 songs to perform, and the younger ones 1 or 2, but the whole show was like 30 songs, and the teacher taught them 30
routines.
Different choreographed routines, and they all remembered them.
Yeah, it's amazing.
My daughter used to dance, and I used to watch her and go, how do you remember all that? You forget to take out the garbage, but you know how to dance. It's crazy.
To further on your story, you said, I can't dance with you because you're not doing it right. It reminds me, I was lucky enough years ago to train with Tony Blauer, greatest self-defense teacher in the world. Believe me, it is. He is. And he said he was teaching a class one night, he was doing a demo, and he says to his assistant student, he goes, okay, grab me. And the guy grabbed him in some weird way. And Tony went, no, not like that, you're not doing it right. And then he said, I had a moment, I thought to myself, what do you mean he's not doing it right. How do you define a proper grab? Is this going to work in all situations, or does it only work as a response to a specific situation?
Yeah.
Does that make it better or worse for real life? Because I don't know anybody as of yet who can predict the future, except for maybe Roy. He's really smart.
Right.
But you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how somebody's going to grab you weird. You don't know if somebody's dancing. How can you invalidate what they're doing? It's a thing that happens, whether it's an artistic thing, whether it's a reflexive thing. It's a thing that happens, and to say no, that's not how it's done.
For the
That's
dancing
so
thing,
weird.
For the dancing thing is because they use the counting, the count.
Yeah.
They count,
we don't count anything. But yeah, no, I know music is mathematics, but we don't count. We go with the feeling.
Yeah.
And then you don't follow
That's a
that
different
pattern.
understanding of mathematics.
You don't follow the pattern that they learn it to.
They
count,
get
to
lost.
count.
Not you.
Exactly.
I bet you weren't lost.
No. I mean,
You were fine.
It's like a track. They're in the track, and then if you jump in that track, you have to stay in that track. You cannot get out of that track.
Yeah. I never count when I play guitar. I never count. And you say, okay, it's an 8 bar. Okay, it's 8 bars. Well, you just did 8 bars. Yeah, I know, but I wasn't counting. I just know it's 8 bars.
Well,
Whatever
definitely.
it was,
Eight bars has a feel, because that's what
everything has a
1,
feel.
2, 3,
4 bars, 8 bars, 6 bars, 12 bars. I don't know what I'm doing. And some people say, oh, you changed the count on the second verse. I said, yeah. But it sounds good. Well, yeah, because I don't know what I'm doing. Therefore, I get to do stuff that doesn't make sense that actually sounds good. So I think learning, I have nothing against learning, can inhibit your creativity. Because, you're not supposed to do that chord after that chord. Well, yeah, you are. You can. So learning helps you to explore what you already feel better. But if you play just by learning, then you're not feeling. Because I've jammed with people who are concert pianists. And I said, let's do a 12-bar blues. I don't know. I need a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And the guy was fantastic. So he was a way better musician than I'll ever be. But I enjoy what I do because it's my feelings that are coming out.
Yeah. You know, you were saying something on the car ride over here about training new people. We have a lot of new apprentices at work and stuff like that. And Bladimir is, if I may, come back out of retirement to provide expert masterclass coaching to the new apprentices. And he said one of the things that's cool is they have no previous experience, so they don't have bad habits to unlearn.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like if you learn to dance a certain way, if you learn to play music a certain way, and you're locked into it, it's a bit of a handicap.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say.
Art should be so dovetail, wide end, opened.
Well, I don't consider myself a musician. I consider myself an artist.
There you go.
And that's my best definition of what I do. It's art to me.
Yeah.
And I have like over 400 compositions on SoundCloud, and they are my musical diary.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do 2-3 recordings a day when I was going through a hard time in my life. And they were actually 3 good songs.
That's your audio journaling.
And that's where the
Some
podcast
people keep a diary, some people
makes
keep a
sense
music
to me
log.
as well. Because now I'm using a different medium to express who I am, and I'm sharing that with
And
you
we are
guys.
so grateful for that. This is the coolest opportunity I've had in a long time. You know, I've been pushing djembe lessons. I started teaching in 2006 with these things to grow my own drummers. And so I'd have people to play with, because I always thought a drummer on stage alone is kind of a lonely existence. And so I knocked on doors in community centers and all sorts of organizations, and COVID killed everything. And now I've gotten back into teaching, got a couple of students, going well, but this is another way to reach out. And I mentioned it to my son with Kevin's gracious help. We're gonna get some djembe stuff edited and put up so people can view it and join it and jam along with it.
My pleasure.
And
I'd love to do that.
it's a modern tool for something I was trying to do manually for years and years, but the logistics of it are difficult. People are busy with their lives. It's hard for them to get together for a class. If they can do something at their convenience and they got a little groove to jam along with, this is a fantastic instrument. You hit it, it makes a noise. It's not like a violin. It's certainly less complex than this ukulele, but it is incredibly subtle.
Yeah.
It's incredibly subtle and intuitive, and you can get a note out of it right away.
Yeah.
If I hand out 20 violins, it's not going to be pretty.
No.
Yeah.
And what's interesting too about the medium that we're going to use to get that out there for you is you have a captive audience. They are tuning in because they want to watch it. It's not like a kid who has to come to a lesson because he doesn't.
Do this?
Oh, I feel like playing my game. Do I have to go to my lesson today? And he goes to the lesson. He's not into it. But on YouTube, the person, when they're in the mood, click on your video.
If they're searching, and
that's a captive audience. Yeah, so they're seeking it. You're actually providing something somebody wants, as opposed to dragging somebody to a lesson and say you're going to learn this, which is often the case, So, yeah, I think this is a good medium for you to express that.
Thanks. I appreciate the help, man, because I am technically challenged big time.
Well, I'm challenged in many ways, too. We won't get into that. That's another podcast.
Life is worthless without challenges.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
So I'd like to hear you guys play again.
Sorry.
I'd like to hear you guys play again.
Okay.
I want to hear something else that you brought. You brought toys.
Singing bowl, Chinese balls. Oh!
Remember?
I brought the cowbell. I had planned.
Yeah.
This is a.
Let's go.
Softer.
This is fun. I like playing off instruments between low and high pitches. That's a cool gizmo. Well, what I'd hoped to do was do like a 1 minute demo of a rhythm.
Go for it. You've got the floor.
It's in 3 parts.
Okay.
So is it possible to record one part and then I hear a playback?
We'll do that after.
Okay.
After the podcast, but I'd like you to do something live now, as opposed to, just you guys get into something.
Go for it.
Just remember the volume because the microphones are going to pick
sensitive?
it up. Very sensitive, yeah. They're set for the
like
voice.
red lines out type of thing?
Well, because they're set for our voice. They're not set for the instruments. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So here we go.
Awesome. Now, how is that tuned? Is it open tuning or is it a standard tuning? What tuning are you in?
This is G.
G.
C.
Yeah.
E. And A.
Okay, when you play it open, is it a chord?
When I play open, this is G.
No, but strum it all in one shot. So that's a chord. What chord is that? G?
No, the G is here.
Okay, so you do have to make the decision.
This is C.
So it's not an open tuning.
No.
Can I try it?
Yeah.
No, I've never played ukulele, so please be patient with me.
I never in my life tried anything with string because I always consider I have big hands. So try strings like a.
Jimi Hendrix had huge hands.
Yeah, but I always have that thing in my mind, like a.
I know what you mean. Yeah, same thing, short fingers, so I always stayed away from piano. I had to do piano for a year. My poor teacher.
That is a tenor ukulele. You have the.
Oh, there's different kinds: soprano, baritone.
You have the baritone that is. It's just like the first four strings on a guitar. The same tuning, like the first four strings.
That's interesting. I think I'd like to learn how to play that. Maybe you can give me some lessons one day.
Well, you know what?
YouTube, man.
You know what?
That's true.
Everything is in the YouTube. Like I say, I'm learning with YouTube.
I hear
I don't
you.
have anybody to give me any lessons.
But I think I'm going to invest in a ukulele one day.
Yeah.
That's
How much?
really
How
cool.
much does a model like that go for?
I think it's like 200 something.
Okay.
Okay, that's not bad. And you can plug it in.
There's a brand called Kala,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have Makala. Makala is the same people, but it's like the cheapest model.
Oh, it's like Fender and Squire.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
But I have this one. It's
Or
a
Gibson
tenor.
and Epiphone.
Makala is this is my first ukulele, Makala, but I have a baritone that is Kala. It's the other.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, and I have another Kala that is electric.
How long have you been playing music? Since you were a kid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much. Finishing. Before high school, just finishing the elementary.
Okay, well that's cool. And you James, you started young?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Eh?
Yeah. My first set of drumsticks were plastic chopsticks from Chow's Takeout on the linoleum kitchen floor when
There
I
you
was
go.
about 4 or 5.
Wow, you started.
My
young.
mother was so patient.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found out I could do a buzz roll with chopsticks, and they were
Wow.
kid size. And they weren't like today chopsticks are like bamboo. These were. I mean, you could defend yourself with these things. They were. It was a real stretch.
But you're a natural. I mean, I watched you play. We've recorded, played jam together and stuff. And you're a natural. I started learning when I was 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I heard this interview today. It was Andrew Carter's Archives,
Yeah.
and it was a few years ago, in 18 or something. He interviewed Ian Anderson.
Wow.
And I thought that was really cool. Usually it's like, whatever.
Andrew Carter's done a lot of great interviews.
And I'm a huge Jethro Tull fan. And Ian Anderson picked up the flute when he was 21.
Wow.
What? I mean, that's crazy.
Going back to when
Considering
I
how
start
good
playing
he is.
music, I start playing percussion. The ukulele is only for the last maybe 2.5, 3 years.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
new at the uke.
I was doing
Okay.
percussion. Like I said before, I always thought I have a big finger for strings. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be tough for me, But I try with the uke and I like it so far.
So you're a uke newbie.
Oh yeah,
You're still a little
very much,
green.
very much.
That's what we referenced the airplanes again.
Yeah, very much learning, starting to learn.
James, you brought another show and tell. I think somebody.
Oh, that's just set
At least
dressing.
one person out there will be interested, if not many. Yeah, can we see that?
Sure. This is a replica katana, legal size for Canada. It was mailed to me,
Wow.
past customs and everything. So this is not a black market item. It's totally replica. Notably, the difference: a real katana has these dowel pins that go through that hold the hilt onto the tang of the blade. They have one peg, like a real authentic katana. This one has two, and the gripping underneath is probably some kind of fancy sandpaper. It's not ray skin, which is
Okay.
a real katana is made of that. And the quality of the steel and everything. This is nicely inscribed with this logo on it, and I know it's corny, but this is the same logo that was on the katana used by Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai.
That was a good movie.
You know, it's very popular in Japan, that movie.
Oh,
Which is
really?
like, what? Like the white man comes and saves the poor hapless natives. No. Because it's popular in Japan because it accurately, so they say, portrays the era, the spirit of the samurai and their whole duty honor system.
I don't know much about that, but I felt that way when I watched it.
The story itself actually did happen in different contexts. It was not an American, it was a European Frenchman who was contracted. And of course the events are different, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not Hollywood, but...
Hollywoodized.
It was a very well done movie. My favorite character in that was Ujio. And
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah. And he... there's if you look in the special features of that movie, there's something called the Ujio beheading, where he's walking through the street. Now, why he's walking through the street in full samurai garb when the laws have been decreed that feudalism is over, whatever, don't ask too many questions, okay? You'll hurt your brain. And he gets confronted by two modern Japanese guys wearing Western clothes, little bowler hat and, wing collar and bamboo walking stick, whatever.
Yeah.
They hassle him and go, "Your time is over." And one guy goes to poke him in the shoulder with his walking stick, and Ujio, like one motion, takes his head off.
Wow.
And it's like, whoa! And everybody on the street drops to their knees and shows deference, because apparently that's what it was when a samurai went down the street in feudal Japan. You show deference, or you might become an unwilling participant in a ritual they called bathing their blade in the blood of the beggar, which is every once in a while a samurai's sword had to taste blood if it was to stay active.
Wow.
As part of his spirit.
Creepy and cool at the same time.
It must have been a terribly tyrannical time.
Oh, God.
Fear and terror, I cannot imagine. Anyway, but this scene demonstrates us how fast these things can be, and how effective. And the thing that's striking about it, it doesn't make a word. All you get is the whip sound.
The whip sound.
And that's it. And yeah. Anyway, so I got this because I find learning how to draw and sheathe and make it look professional is kind of like a meditation activity. I never take it outside.
I understand that.
I never take it outside. I don't go chopping trees. It's a display piece, but it's also a type of exercise equipment. And there's a whole method. Well, there are different disciplines about how to remove and replace the sword in its scabbard. Mm-hmm. And I like to follow this guy called Ask Shogo. And he's a Japanese artist who trains in a certain discipline of Japanese fencing. And it's really, really sharp. His tutorials are good. And through that I learned, you're not holding like this, you hold like this. You draw, removing it away from you, not just trying to go out and getting overextended. There's all these subtleties to it, so you actually look like you look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's an art form. I think a lot of the Asian the practices of all these martial arts and swords and all that, it's a way to make people help people to focus and become more not regimented, but more
self-discipline.
Exactly. It's a self-discipline kind
you ever
of
hear
thing.
of the Zen stick?
No.
Okay.
Maybe. No.
You'll be doing a meditation, an exercise, and your teacher comes around behind you and gives you a smack on the back with a stick. And it's not to punish you. It's to bring your they call it bringing your attention forward. So you really, okay, this is the moment. Because the problem is, you go, okay, I'm concentrating on this, but then I think about this, I think about, peanut butter sandwich, whatever, you're distracted, you're not 100% on site. Music serves that purpose.
Yeah.
Although you can be playing something and be totally composing and improvising, which is kind of like yin-yang-ish.
Yeah.
But the Zen stick. And I've had it done to me. It works. It's very bizarre, you know. Like when you learn something, anything difficult, I think you might not always have the best teacher. They might have a really nasty, mean personality, and they belittle you.
Well, they're human beings, right?
I try and they're probably toxic in their own way, you know.
We all have
varying degrees of that. I try and put up filters at my very best when I can. I'll put up filters and go, okay, I'm after the information that is useful, and the rest I'll just not take personally and discard it.
Yeah.
You know.
I get that.
So you can learn from just about anybody, even somebody who's a monstrously toxic personality.
I agree with that. I've had some moments of aha moments with complete, mean and irritable and mean-spirited people who were unpleasant to be with, but I learned something from them. You can learn something from anybody. I think that's part of life. Anybody could teach you something. Yeah. How about a closing song with different instruments? Maybe you on percussion, and what would you like to do? Play your bowl or your bells and your balls and your...
What else did I break? I did not.
Oh.
I did not.
You did not what?
Oh, give me the
shaker.
The shaker.
Right there.
Shaker. Do I have anything else? I have tac bells.
Okay, I'll take the bells. And you do the... Okay. Maybe I'll do this too.
And I have other tac bells. When we do the drumming segment, I don't know if we'll get to it today.
Yes, we will after this.
We will?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you, both of you.
Thanks for having us over, man. It's always a great way to spend the day.
Bladimir, James, you're welcome to come back again. And this is the end of this podcast, and I hope you enjoyed it. And join us next time, as we're going to do many more interesting things and talk about whatever and anything. So be kind to somebody today. Enjoy your life, because it's just beautiful.
Good night.
Good night.
Cool. So we're off the air?
Yeah.
You should have a sign, like in the radio studio.
Yeah.
On